story. We discuss all things. The legends, the past, the trailblazers, the future. Today, we're going to talk about AEW's Full Gear. With us is our special guest from Gimme a Whole Yeah. Our friends. Well, our friend, because our other friend decided he was too tired. So our friends from across the pond. We have Ant with us from Gimme a Whole Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. We just had a lot of fun on our stream.
Yes, definitely. Double sound. Why am I getting double sound? I did nothing with the audio. Everything is set up like it was last night. I love technology. Love it.
Host.
Can you hear me, Mrs. G?
Let's try this. All right. I did nothing with the audio. So why I'm getting double sound. All right. Let me check here.
So it said they're doing the.
All right, go ahead and talk.
I'll share in a second. So.
We'll see if they can hear.
So I don't know if anybody can hear us. I don't know if it sounds okay. No idea. But we were questioning Matt Jackson's injury, and he has said in the media call thing after, he said that it's a legitimate injury. He injured himself while diving off the entrance onto the concrete. He said that his wife has been, checking up on him and making sure that he's getting checked out. He says that he hasn't had any pain in his ACL, just wear and tear. And after talking to a couple of doctors, he's under the impression that the ACL tear may be a decade or older, and will continue to protect and rehab it. So.
Kind of ties into what I said about you can perform with the injury. It's just a matter of how bad it is. Alexa Bliss is joining us. How are you? We're going to talk about Full Gear. We got our guest from Gimme a Whole Yeah. Got Ant joining us. We just came from their podcast as we watched them watched with them AEW Full Gear. So they are joining us now, and we are glad to have Ant with us. All right. Or do we have sound? Do we sound okay? Everything sounds good. You can hear Ant.
No, you can't.
That works.
You can't hear Ant at all.
You can't hear Ant at all.
No.
Like I did nothing with the. Okay.
Yeah, you can't hear him.
All right. I think I fixed it. We'll see here.
Can't hear the guy speaking.
I can't hear the guy speaking. Can you hear this guy speaking?
Hello.
Brazil.
What's up?
How are you?
Man.
So while Ant is getting his headphones, we'll test it out and see if we can hear him when he gets back here.
Yep.
I may have fixed it. We'll see.
Maybe. Possibly.
Possibly.
Maybe not, though.
Hopefully.
Who knows?
I'm appalled at what Dom said. Ugh. 6 out of 10, really? I'd say 8 out of 10. Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. Can you hear Ant now? Because
We'll see.
Yeah. So hopefully.
1 second.
I can't hear the guy speaking. The good-looking guy, Alexa Bliss means.
Toast.
1 second.
Toast.
We're getting. Oh, we can hear him?
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yes!
Awesome.
Woohoo! Hello, everyone.
Got it figured out.
There we go. We got to figure it out. All right. Full
right.
Gear. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't impressed with it. There was just too many things in it that I just felt either matches moved too slow or just the endings weren't good. And so it just kind of like messed things up for me.
I can see
best
why
match,
I can see why
best matches. Go ahead.
It's all right. It's like meeting someone in the street and walking on both sides of the it's boss time. I can see what you mean about endings not being satisfying, and I think that that'll be one of the biggest criticisms of the pay-per-view, because there was several. I didn't mind them as much, but I can get, or at least I didn't mind some of them as much. But I can see exactly where you're coming from, Mr. G.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that you're geared up for something that you. And Dom even like talked about it, like being geared up for something, and then you're kind of let down by the stuff that happens. Cool. And so I think that, just like I said, the way some of the matches ended, the way that some of them just the flow, it just didn't seem like it was there for me. Scott says best match is Bucks versus FTR by a mile. I would agree with that, but even with that, there was some stuff there that kind of disappointed me. At least y'all fixed it within 30 minutes. Yes, Scott, I fixed the technical difficulties within 30 minutes.
Yes.
Show was too long. Please, no more Eddie Kingston in the main event. Tommy Oliver, Green Power Ranger, couldn't beat Moxley. Kingston let him down.
I said it was more of like the Spirit Squad. Like, that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Spirit Squad.
It looked terrible.
Scott says you were let down because there was no Sting. Is that correct? No, it wasn't. It wasn't even the fact that there was no Sting. It's just I just didn't like it. Alexa says I feel like there should have been debuts tonight.
Unless it was Stinger. Well, the thought was with Gangrel, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that you obviously there's a lot of thing like hints that Sting's gonna. At least hints that Sting is somehow, somewhere being involved with moves that people are putting on, with things that are being said, with things that are being done. And so I would not be shocked if we see him soon. I was hoping we'd see him tonight, but obviously they're going a little bit
maybe
different.
In a rematch, who knows, man?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So tonight we started off, we had the pre-show with Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay for the NWA Women's Championship. We also had Don Callis from Impact Wrestling.
Why was he there?
So, well, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if maybe they were going to pull something in from Impact, and maybe we're going to see some Impact wrestlers come in and do some things, but obviously there was nothing there.
No.
Unless they are setting up a potential to do something with Impact, and that he's just there, and it's kind of a tease that it's on its way, that they're going to be doing some stuff with them.
But I feel like if he was going to do that, you just have the wrestler. You wouldn't have Don Callis come, would you? You'd just do a surprise at some point.
Well, unless they have some sort of, like I mentioned in the stream about like Japan's the G1.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe the plan is they're going to do something like that. I don't know.
That'd be really cool. Don Callis working with the promotion is interesting anyway, because I think he'd bring a lot anyway. So yeah, I'm down for that, man.
Yeah. Hello, Hakeem.
What is up?
So, Serena Deeb, Allison Kay, what'd you think?
This match wasn't terrible. There was also nothing about it that was super entertaining either. I mean, it was just a pre-show match. I didn't think that it was, not that it was bad, because I think it gave a good showing for both Allison Kay and Serena Deeb just to get them out there, and it's continuing to keep NWA in people's mouths. So, I suppose that was good. But otherwise, I mean, it pretty much went the way I thought it was going to. Serena Deeb won, and then after, Thunder Rosa came out and sort of got all up in Serena Deeb's face and was like, that title is still mine! So I'm expecting we're going to see sort of a feud with them on Dynamite, I would imagine, because I don't foresee it really being transferred over to NWA just with the way that they're going right now. Which is a bit sad that they're using the NWA women more than they're using their actual women that are employed to their company, AEW, that is. If they can figure out storylines for them, then, like, why can't they do that for their own women. You know?
The thing is, they're really not storylines for them. It's just like, okay, we're going to have an NWA match for the women's title, and that's it.
But the thing about it is, though, is like, Deeb and Thunder Rosa, they've been doing sort of this, not feud, but they've had a couple matches, and I guess you could call it a feud of some sorts. It's just about the title, and that's more than like what the women on Dynamite are getting. So, anybody else see a problem with that?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is like Mr. G said, no story going into it. So while I think it was a technically proficient match, it was just a match between two wrestlers, and there was nothing to sort of get invested in. The best part of it was Thunder Rosa coming out, I think, at the end, which sort of popped us a little bit. But yeah, apart from that, good wrestling, but no story. So you can't really get that invested in it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But that's kind of what they've done with the women's division anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole women's division is done that way, whether it's NWA or they're women. And it makes me wonder if they're not going to bring some of those NWA women in to AEW to be part of the roster.
I think that Allison Kay would be a really good get for them. I think she's a really talented wrestler, and I've seen some of her stuff from NWA, and she's done a great job with like her promo work and things like that. Like, she's a really good worker. And so I think that she could be a great addition for AEW. It's just a matter of whether they're going to actually focus on the women's division and use them or not.
Personally, I'd love to see an invasion angle, actually, with the women from NWA, where they invade AEW and talk about their women's wrestlers not being able to get the spotlight, and we're far better than you because we're able to do that and stuff like that. You know, your last main event was your champion was fighting our champion because you had no one else ready to take her on. So I think that sort of thing could be really interesting.
Definitely, and it would, you know, it would give the AEW women something, because right now they've got nothing.
An easy
Absolutely
story,
nothing.
yeah, a really easy story to tell.
Yeah.
So that could be fun.
The problem is I think the NWA women's division is probably better than.
Well, it is.
The AEW women's division.
It is better than the AEW women's division, but at least it would give the AEW women some sort of a storyline.
Well, it would.
To maybe better some of them.
As long as they build on it, like, each week, and not just like, oh, we're going to do this the week before the pay-per-view, and then we're going to throw this out there and have this match. And I just think that, you know, that's the issue they have with their women. They just don't build anything up.
Which is a part of the massive problem we had later on in the night as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sure.
Scott says, or hello, John Elite, how you doing? Scott says, quick question. Why have the Bucks win when one of the Bucks is hurt?
I'm going to talk about that when
we
get to the Young Bucks match.
Have some thoughts on that. Mrs. Gleen says, hello, Hakeem. Scott, Britt Baker deserves a shot as a champion. The Sheeta Nyla match was meh to me. I think Britt Baker's going to get her shot. I think they want to make sure she's completely healthy before she comes back to do a regular match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because AEW needs 5-on-5 women tags. It's better than AEW's. That's a low bar, though. Well, I think NWA has some really talented women's wrestlers, and they've done some really great work over there if you've paid attention to it. So, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, I mean, I don't pay that close attention to it, but from what I have seen, it's all been really good. So
I've said top to bottom that the NWA's women's is better than WWE's.
Wow. I mean,
I think that they. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I think that there's not as many, but as far as the talent and
the storytelling ability,
the storylines, the promos they cut, I think that they have done a better job than even WWE. So,
well, see, that's again not a hard thing to do, because I feel like it's not like WWE has terrible women in their division, because they have some superstars there. It's just a matter of they don't know how to book storylines, and NWA does.
But you think about it, NWA's show is like, when they were doing their show, is an hour long, and so when the women are doing their thing, it's not, you know, just long drawn out like something stupid that doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's they have a point, they have a purpose, and they do it. And so I think that's one of the reasons that I feel that they're women, and they're women. They got several that can wrestle. They can do the stuff in the ring. I mean, look, you have Thunder Rosa, you have Allison Kay, you have Melina was there. You know, the
Marty Bell.
Yep.
Another one.
So I mean, they have the talent there to do these things, and so, which is why I said that, you know, the overall, I feel that they are better than even WWE's.
Mm-hmm. I think Scott said about 5 versus 5 women's tag matches. Yeah, because we need that. I think there's potential. I mean, you've got a great wrestler in Hikaru Shida. I think she's a cracking wrestler. One of the sort of top 10 in the world, I'd probably say. You've got Britt Baker, who's a good wrestler, I'd say now. Nyla Rose, who I think is a good wrestler. Maybe not tonight, but and then you've got, like, if you can get Statlander back again, she's a decent wrestler, and Swole or someone like that. I think you've got a 5-person match there, and I think the reason that I say about this Invasion story is because Invasion stories are so easy to tell and would actually give us something to tune into the women's division for. And with Kurishida leading something like that, I think it could be great, you know? So, yeah, we'll see where it goes, man.
Yeah. And I don't think you necessarily have to do a 5-on-5 thing. You could do, like, a tag team match and then, like, a couple singles matches. It doesn't have to be a 5-on-5 match.
Yeah, yeah.
So then, Serena Deeb ends up winning, keeping the championship.
She retained.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Then we get Kenny Omega and Hangman Page.
I was really shocked this opened the show.
Me too.
Like, I wasn't expecting it to be on now.
The only reason they did it at the beginning was for the ending, which it didn't mean anything.
But even if it had been in the middle of the show, they still could have done it what they did at the end. Even if it was right before the match that they did in the main event, they still could have done the thing with Kenny Omega coming out at the end. I don't think it really mattered what happened, or like the placement of it, I suppose. In some cases, I do think the placement depends, or like can mess up the match, and I'm going to talk about that with another match later. But I was really pleased to see this at the beginning of the show. I think that this was a heck of a match to start with. It got people excited and hyped up, and it was really, really good, and they had a really good story going into this. And I really, really enjoyed it.
I would agree. I mean, it was a solid match.
But
I think it was too obvious on what was going to happen.
But see, either way you went with it, though. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. Either way you went with it, it was either going to be, obviously, Kenny Omega or Hangman Page. That's who was in this match. And they could have gone either way. And I think either way, people would have been happy with it and would have been okay with it, because we're going to get 2 great storylines out of this, regardless of who won this match.
The thing is, I don't think they could have won either way.
But I think they could have. They could have had Hangman Page win, and then go on to fight Moxley or whatever, and then, like, lose or something, or have Kenny Omega get involved because he's angry that, you know, Hangman beat him or something like that, have him go full-on heel. I mean, I don't know. They could have figured out a way to do it. There were ways to get around not just having to have Kenny Omega win. But they chose to have Kenny Omega win because it makes more sense in storyline. I mean, you do Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley once again, and then you can do, while this is happening, Adam Page can get built up. You know, I think he's going to lose his confidence, and he's going to really go down this, like, rabbit hole of, like, he doesn't know, he doesn't think he can do this anymore or something like that, or, like, he's really just doubting himself, like, big time, and then he's finally going to, like, get this swift kick in the butt, and it's just going to click, and then he's going to go after Kenny Omega once he takes the title off of Moxley, because I think that's ultimately where we're heading to.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
I think that...
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, you go, man.
This
is your show.
The thing is I think that Hangman Page, having him win this, would have been more of a shock, which would have added to the pay-per-view. Okay? Because I don't think that I think people were expecting Omega to win it. So if you have Hangman Page win, and then at the end of the match he goes to shake Omega's hand, and then we get the total Omega's like heel character comes out.
But I don't think
and he
that's
destroys
what they're going for with this though.
But they're headed that way anyway with what they're doing. I mean, if you look at what they're doing, they're kind of doing it that way. So, you know, you have him flip on Hangman Page tonight, and if you don't want to have the total flip, have him come back on Dynamite and, you know, tell Hangman Page, I'm so sorry. You know, we had a good match. I just lost it there for that second. And so
but
I didn't mean it.
They're already not friends, though. Kenny Omega has shunned him, okay? He doesn't like him. They're not like buddies anymore. And they're not like, oh, yeah, let's go hang out. I'll have a beer and you'll have a glass of milk. There's none of that.
But it's not. But see, the whole idea wouldn't be about them going to have a glass of milk. This would be about them, Omega just apologizing for being a jerk and attacking him after trying to shake his hand because they had a good match.
But see, I don't feel like that's as it could be good, but I don't feel like that's as compelling of a story as the Adam Page climb to the top.
I've got to say, I sort of agree with Minnie M here in terms of the Kenny. You're right, Mr. G. It would have been a shock, or more of a shock, if Adam Page had won. But AEW don't often go for shock, apart from sometimes in the matches where they do these crazy, stupid things that we just don't want to see anyone get hurt in, or have a monster truck rider or a golf cart. They don't often go for shock. Oftentimes they go for the natural flow of the story, and for me, this is the natural flow of the story. And there's something interesting about this match, because I thought it was a really, really good match, but I don't think it was great. And I think that these two can have a great match. However, I think there was intentionally holding some stuff back. And I think they're holding it back because this isn't done. And I'm not saying a WWE done, we're going to get this match for the next 20 weeks. What I'm saying is Kenny getting a title and then Page going for the title is the big match. And I feel like they held quite a lot back tonight, actually. And that didn't make it a not good match. It was a really good match, but it wasn't incredible. Does that make sense? And I think that they're saving that for when they've got a title involved. So to me, this wasn't the end of that. This felt, so one way to put it, this felt like the end of a tournament match, right? Which is the tournament they've been through. This didn't feel like an Adam Page and Kenny Omega friendship group match. And I think that they're saving that for later on. This felt very much like a tournament match. And I think that's an interesting sort of concept, actually, for when we do get that down the line and sort of work story-wise and sort of going with that further story.
Yeah, I mean, I could understand that, but I think that, again, it's just that you don't necessarily need the shock value of something, but you need to have some substance to it where you go, I didn't really expect that, you know, like I wasn't necessarily completely shocked that happened, but it was like, because this is a pay-per-view and this is where you're supposed to have your big things. You should have your big stuff happening in your pay-per-views.
But I just never done that.
Omega beating Page, I don't feel is a big thing.
No, I agree with you, but they've never done that with this feud. Like, if you look back at the when they lost the titles, well, at that point we was all saying, is there going to be a heel turn? Is this going to be the big heel turn? Is Kenny going to attack Page? Same again tonight. We was all, at the end of the match, we was all quiet, watching it to see what was going to happen next. But they haven't done that. They haven't given us that easy satisfaction, if you like. And maybe that's because it's going to continue building down the line, you know, and I'm quite happy for that and sort of trusting that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I mean...
Do you know what I mean?
They're going to have to because, like I said...
It's all for the
ultimately, this
picture.
is why this pay-per-view was not, like... Not just because of this match. I mean, there's other matches in this that we're going to talk about here that... But ultimately, that's why this pay-per-view tonight, I didn't feel was, like, super great.
I disagree completely. Anyways, but I feel like it's looking at the bigger picture. This match is leading towards the bigger picture.
This wasn't the end.
And this is just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
There's still 14 other pieces that need to be put together, but it's going to take some time to get there. One other thing that I thought was, kind of interesting about this match is sort of towards the end, like right before Adam Page lost. Like he got hit with the V-trigger like twice, I think. But he still wasn't completely out of it. Like he was still trying to put up a fight when Kenny was going for the very last move in like the powerbomb or whatever. He was still trying to fight out of it. And I think that's like going to be the major thing in this entire situation is it's really going to be like the uphill battle for Adam Page and really getting these people on Adam Page's side, which I don't think is going to be a hard thing to do. But I'm just really intrigued to see how he continues to play the character of sort of trying to fight against all the odds that are stacked against him.
I think you're right, and I think that that match might actually be the first match where someone kicks out of the one-winged angel. And I think that they're building to that as well. So I think I'm perfectly happy with it. I thought it was a good match, a really good match. Not like Dave Meltzer 5 stars, but at the same time, we might get that in the future. And I think these two are capable of doing that as well.
Yeah.
Totally.
So.
John Elite says I was expecting this to be co-main event or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked it was at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa says Kenny winning the title from Mox. I would say probably yes. Props to Kenny Omega for sticking around the rest of the show just to walk up to Moxley, then leave, Scott says. Scott asked me, Mr. G, do all the false finishes take you out of some matches? What do you mean by false finishes? And then Hangman Page entrance theme hypes me up. Yes, best. I think he has one of the better entrances. Although, like I said the other day, I think that AEW has a lot of good entrance. Like, their music and stuff is just good.
Page had a shot at the AEW title versus Jericho. He had his chance, then he lost it.
He did, but that was very early on, in sort of before Page was established as a superstar. And actually, the right call at that point was definitely to put it on Jericho and sort of push the promotion in that way. And we are getting this slow build to Page. He's still main event talking material, and the carry on telling this story and telling it right, which they have been doing, in my opinion. Then you've got it.
Yeah, see, like, with that, I don't feel that it was like they had anything against Adam Page, and that's why they didn't put it on him. It was just Jericho was the bigger name.
Makes sense.
Jericho, people know who Jericho is, and so that would have drawn people in to watch the product,
Definitely.
Scott said, I thought AEW Full Gear, while the matches were good, for the most part, there was no shock value. I would agree. Alexa, let's have a Saturday night dance party. Well, for Ant, it is Sunday morning. So he's going to have a Sunday morning dance party.
It's a Sunday morning rave, actually.
Scott, false finish is when someone hits a big move and someone kicks out. That's kind of what I thought you meant. I hate those. Because if you have them every now and then, that's good. But if you have too many of them, it just kind of takes away from the match.
At least the ending of this was solid. One-winged angel pin. I mean, we can't say that about all the other matches, I suppose. Or I think that's how you feel, Mr. G. About some later matches.
So then we get Orange Cassidy versus John Silver.
I really enjoyed this match too.
I did.
It was so fun.
It was fun.
I thought it was a good match.
Oh man, Mr. G, why are you crapping on this show, dude?
Again, here's another one that, when we gave our predictions and stuff, I gave you, like, storylines that they could follow and things like that. And I'm not saying, that's the end all to all of it, but it's like...
The be-all and end-all?
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Well, it's been streaming for hours already.
It's like, when you sit here and you watch it, and you go, okay, this is on your pay-per-view, something needs to happen.
But see,
don't just make this a match, okay?
But the thing
because this is your pay-per-view, don't just make this a match. If you want this to just be a match, put it on Dynamite.
But the thing about this was, it wasn't ever supposed to be like a giant main event match. That's not what this was meant to be. It's John Silver and Orange Cassidy, for like crying out loud. Both of them are great. They're amazing. I think they're freaking hilarious. And that's what this match was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a funny moment in the show. It happened to be a really good match. A really great showing for John Silver. But it was supposed to have some of that, comedy relief. That's what it was. I think it was perfect to put this on right after the first match. Because we were sitting there going, oh, well, what the heck match is going to follow, Adam Page and Kenny Omega? I mean, they just put on a great show. What are they going to do to top that? Well, they didn't necessarily top it, but it was still really good. And it was just funny. And these two guys worked really well together. And like I said, John Silver had a really great showing. Not only can he do, like, the acting and the promos and stuff, but he's a really good wrestler, too. So hopefully this leads to bigger, better things for him. I think ultimately, because Orange Cassidy won, I think this is maybe going to lead to, like, Orange Cassidy and Brody Lee, to give the two of them a feud on TV, because we haven't seen Brody Lee in a while.
Haven't they done that?
Have they?
I think so.
I don't.
Yeah, they've done something with them.
Yeah, I feel
Let's
like
look it up.
I don't know. I just think that it just didn't do it for me. I mean, it was like, okay, here's another match. You could just throw it out there on Dynamite. You're going to put everybody through a 4-hour show, 5-hour show, however long it lasted. Why do this? There's no need for it.
But it was just a fun match, though. Did there really need to be, like, a reason for this? It was just a fun match.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was a light match, a bit of comedy relief. These two character work is wonderful, man. And I like the whole ripping out the pockets thing. I thought that was hilarious. I like John Silver. I like Orange Cassidy. It was a great platform for Orange Cassidy. Maybe it shouldn't have been moved up to main card. I don't know. Maybe it would have worked better on the pre-show. But it was great. I had a good time with it. It was just what was needed after that other sort of serious match, really. For me.
Yeah.
For me.
I mean, I can get that. I mean, but it's still just like, this is your pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to have some sort of shock out of it, then tell a story, do something. I mean, you got to do something. And it just didn't do it. I mean, it's just another match that they could have, like I said, put on Dynamite and done it that way.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but people love Orange Cassidy, man. And,
oh, yeah.
It was a big win for him. Well, not a big win, but it was a win for him after 2 losses from Cody. And I suppose sort of keeping him in the pay-per-view scene, I suppose. Keeping him for whoever he's going to be against next,
Yeah, I guess if you're just keeping him relevant, I guess that's...
Yeah, maybe that is.
But it was still fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Still a good match.
Yeah.
Scott says Matt Jackson thinks his ACL injury may have been a long-term injury. This is from the media scrum. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's what I read just a little bit ago, is that his people think that it is, it's been like this for a while, but, it's not terrible. So he's still, able to do what he needs to do. And he's just going to monitor it, and if it gets to the point where it's, bad enough that he needs, like, surgery or something, he will figure it out and do what he needs to do. So.
Did he completely tear it? No. I don't think it's completely torn. I think if it was completely torn, I think he'd be down. They aren't sure. See, so I'm guessing that probably if it's completely torn...
It's probably not bad enough to need to do anything.
Well, it's one of those things that, like I, during the stream, I said that you could work on it. It's just a matter of how much pain you're going to be able to take and how long you're going to be able to walk. And
when I told my ACL, if I twisted it, my entire knee would collapse and I'd fall on the floor. Yeah. So it can't be a complete tear because he wouldn't have been able to have that match.
Mm-hmm.
John Silver is the miniature Walmart version of Braun Strowman. Yes, I can see that. Definitely. Alexa Bliss says, what if Brock came to AEW?
No.
I do not see it happening.
Oh, please no.
First off, I don't see AEW even wanting to approach Brock. So I don't think it'll happen.
I don't know. Tony Khan might, but I don't think it'll happen.
It shouldn't happen.
Tony Khan might, but I think that I think there's enough wrestlers that would put word out there that, hey, no, I don't want
Not
this.
easy to work with.
Yeah.
But can you imagine Orange Cassidy beating Brock? I mean, I'd be down for that. That's pay-per-view match for me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Then we get the TNT Championship, Darby Allin versus Cody.
This is another one that I was kind of shocked with the placement of this one. I mean, it was third in the show. This is another stellar match. Dude, there were so many stupid spots in this. Darby Allin with the arm that was twisted behind his back, and Cody threw him out on the ramp. Ow!
Ouch.
That looked like that freaking hurt.
Mm.
Looked so bad. They had another spot with the crossroads off the top rope.
An avalanche crossroads, yeah.
There was another spot where he had his arm tucked around his back. Darby Allin had his arm tucked around his back, and Cody threw him, and it looked like he smashed his arm. It was real bad. The finish to this match was really shocking. I wasn't expecting this to go the way it did. I was like, oh! He got a really quick 1, 2, 3, and that was that. So Darby is a new TNT champion. I am totally okay with this.
Yes. I mean, I'm okay with the win.
Again, but...
I just feel that there's no storyline here, okay? There's... is Cody going to go back after this title? Because obviously Darby Allin's going to go be fighting with Taz's group.
No, I don't think Cody cares to go after the title.
And
I think
so...
after this, he's not going to go after the title again. Probably not. I think they're going to have a slow, what's the word? A slow decretion of, a slow... Cody's going to slowly be taken off TV. I don't...
a decretion. A decretion.
Is that a word? I don't
No,
know.
It's a word you made up. It's a word you made up.
It's definitely made up, Maven.
I don't know what I was trying to say. I was trying to think of what
Yeah,
the word
neither do
is, but it...
Just degree.
Whatever.
Oh, it's definite. He's going to have a very slow decretion.
Decrease. They're gonna decrease this. I don't know.
He's going to leave the show slowly. He's going to be taken off of the show.
They're gonna subtract Cody Rhodes from AEW on television. I don't know what I was trying to say, okay? I was trying to think of a specific word so it sounded smart, and then I just ended up sounding stupid.
Oh, like decretion, right?
Yeah. Decretion.
Whatever. I make up words on the daily.
It's good, man. It's good. I like it. It's cool.
Hey,
A decretion, that means we're taking the person off television slowly.
That's what young people do nowadays.
Ugh! Anyways, so they're going to slowly take Cody off TV. They're going to decreasingly take him off TV.
Decreasingly? Stop making up words, Miniam.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
Are you trying to say decreasing his time on TV?
I mean, decreasing is just words, not
decreasing.
discreetingly.
Yeah, it's like...
Decreasing perfectly works fine.
They're going to decrease his time on TV. Well, they're going to decreasingly him.
I thought you taught these kids, Mr. G.
I don't know.
Obviously not good enough.
Not English.
We just make up words, so,
It's the American way, apparently.
That's right. You just make up words and get by with it.
Whatever. They're going to decrease his amount of TV time.
Yeah. Decretion.
They're going to decrease.
Oh, dear.
It's like at the spelling bee. Could you spell decretion? Now, tell us what it means.
I don't know.
You don't know what it means?
No.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out a word, and it didn't work out. Okay, it's gonna look dumb.
Miniam, it was
Dumber than I already look.
Perfect.
It's fine.
Scott said, who was driving the car? Wrong answers only. That would have been Darby Allin's dad. Didn't you see the resemblance?
Wrong answers only. Judy Bagwell.
Do you have a Like a guess?
No, I'm trying to look in to see if this is a word.
Oh, she's still trying to prove that her word's a word. Scott says people get on WWE for roll-up finishes, but AEW had 3. LOL. I don't have any issues with roll-up finishes. I mean, I'm cool with them. It's just like.
Now,
I think I agree with Scott and Miss G. I think there was a few too many in this one. I like the Darby Cody one. We all popped for it. We all popped when it happened.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't that fussed about it in this one, but I agree that maybe there was a couple of others where it did. But go on, please tell us what discretion or discretion or...
Decretion! I said decretion!
Oh, of course you did.
Noun.
I mean, sorry for not getting the made-up word right, Jesus.
Noun, decretion. Countable and uncountable, plural decretions. The act of decreasing. Decreasing.
Well, there you go. So you got it right. Well done. We're taking the mick out of you. We're the idiots. Yeah.
Good job. Way to make up a word and actually have it be a word.
I knew it was a word. I knew what I was talking about.
Oh God, there she goes. Here she goes.
His time on television is gonna decrease.
And this is spelling and language brought to you by Maven.
I am a smart person. It is a word.
It's funny. I come onto this podcast and you're talking about discretion. On our podcast, all I've got is Dom talking about excretion.
Folks. I figured it out. Sorry.
Alexa says AEW should add a turkey eating contest.
What?
I'd rather see a turkey chasing contest.
Perfect. Yeah, man.
You have to chase the turkey around, and the first one to catch it wins. Cody off of TV again. He got another show to do. Scott, he has talked about wanting to leave anyway.
By decreasing his time on TV, I think it's more so to become more of a backstage dude and less of an on-screen talent. It's not necessarily that he's leaving. I
don't think he's going to go anywhere.
Scott says you came up with yurt last night, Maven.
Yurt.
I did.
There, see.
Yurt, she did.
Yeah. Makeem, more Dom butt talk on Monday. I hope we don't... I don't think Dom's going to talk about his butt on Monday.
I think he will. I have no doubt he will.
Well, he might.
This is Dom. Do you not know what Dom does?
Well, it's his pre-ritual.
Oh, God. Tonight he was going on and I was like, Dom, shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. What are you talking about? Shut up.
It was so funny.
It was funny.
My
thoughts on that match. I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was a really cracking match. I thought they did some crazy spots, but well executed spots as well for Darby. I do worry about him hurting himself all the time, but then if we was watching a Mick Foley match these days, we'd be saying exactly the same thing. Look at the sort of legend that Mick Foley has, and it's because of that. And if that's what Darby Allin's going for, fair enough. It was wildly entertaining. I had a good time. I didn't mind the roll-up pin at the end as well. It felt like they'd sort of got enough big moves on. And it felt like... and the thing that I like about the roll-up pin in this match is it felt like Darby finally out-wrestled Cody. And that's sort of a big point, you know. It always feels like Cody's just managed to do something really really technical to get the win on Darby. And this was his way of going out technical. You, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like that part. I'm cool with. I'm really cool with Darby Allin winning. I just wish there was more substance to this than what they've got. So Taz comes out and is talking about
stop being a baby. Why are you crying about winning the title?
Yeah,
I'm Team Taz and I'm great. And this here is Brian Cage.
Well, he says He goes act like you've been there before. And then he goes, oh, wait,
you've
never been there before.
And so then Brian Cage and Ricky Starks attack from behind. They take Darby all around the building, throw him through the full gear sign thing outside. Brian Cage nearly slips and falls in. That was really funny. And then they put Darby on the car, and then Will Hobbs comes to save his butt. And this was just kind of meh. Didn't love this.
First they took Arn Anderson out.
Well, yeah, they did that first, but...
And then they jumped in and took out Cody, and obviously their target was Darby Allin. So then they chase him, or to end up like carrying Darby around like the arena. Why, I don't know. They take him to the car, and they're gonna slam his arm in the car, and then Will Hobbs comes out and chases him off with the chair. Mm-hmm. I thought this was good. I thought this was like the best part of this like segment, simply because it's telling a story. Now the issue I have with it is the Cody and Arn Anderson tie into this. Are they just going to make that go away?
I don't know.
Or are they going to put them in? Because Arn Anderson, you know, back when Arn Anderson wrestled, if he was attacked, he wasn't just going to let it go. It was going to be, he was going to come on the next show and talk about how he just wanted to go in and destroy whoever it was that
By
attacked
George,
him.
I think he's got it. Pretty sure we're leading to a feud between Arn Anderson, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and potentially Taz too.
No, my point
Expect
is,
a best of 7 series between those 4 men.
no, the point is Arn would want Cody to go in. It wouldn't just be a, you know, we're going to walk away from this. We're going to have Cody is going to go after them with Darby Allin or whatever the case may be. But from the looks of it, I'm guessing that they're just going to have Cody slide off and do his go away from this, and it's going to be Will Hobbs and Darby Allin that are going to be feuding with Cage and Ricky Starks.
I don't know. I feel like that's a terrible move because I feel like we've been doing the Darby and like Brian Cage thing for a while. I wouldn't be opposed to Darby and Ricky Starks having another match because I think they did some really great work. But aside from that, I don't care anymore. Like, I really don't care for Brian Cage. I don't see the charm.
Well, because he's a bigger guy, and that's...
Well, but I just don't care.
I think Darby beating Brian Cage would be a big moment.
Yeah.
Because he's so small. But I feel like I'm disagreeing a lot with you again, Mystery. My problem with this segment was I felt it took away from Darby's win.
That's why I had an issue with it.
Much like when I
like
sort of
totally
had the booking before, and I was talking about like Sting coming in and saving, and that's why I had Cody to go over. Like, it would have took away, and I feel like this took away as well from. For me, there wasn't a championship moment for Darby. It was more about Cody accepting the loss of the title and passing that over. But there was never like a true sort of celebration. And Darby winning, it should be a massive celebration for all of us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So what
that was my biggest problem with it.
But what, because Cody made the big deal out of it, you know, handing the title over and everything like that. So it's like you said, with the way they did it, it was more about Cody handing the title over rather than Darby winning it. It was Cody showing his graciousness of it. So now that we have this Cage and Starks thing going on, obviously I think somewhere down the road that they're going to fight, just the way they looked at each other over the title. But what if they take Darby's character and have him go out and now he beats Cage in a match, and so you know that then he gets the satisfaction of not only the fact that he had won the title, but now he's retained the title, beaten one of the beasts that you know he's had trouble with, and so he's slayed this dragon and kept the title. So I think that doing it that way, even though he doesn't get the satisfaction of having this big spotlight on him when he wins the title, the fact that he continues to keep the title going against these guys.
Yeah, but I feel he could have also done that on Dynamite, or even done it on a later segment in the show. I just don't feel like we had a Darby celebration tonight, and that's what I feel he deserved. You know, and yeah, I probably wouldn't have done it tonight anyway, because I probably would have done it when I had more fans, because the pop would have been enormous. However, the best part of the segment actually was Ricky Stark's flowers. That was bloody outstanding.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ricky Starks had some clothes, man.
Yeah.
And turtlenecks and all sorts.
Did y'all hear that Cedric Alexander was being spotted backstage at AEW? That doesn't surprise me because if he's like hanging out with Swole, then
oh yeah, there you go.
That, I mean,
they're married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he just went along and was hanging out there with her, it doesn't surprise me.
Hakeem says Cody needs to go. James says, hi guys, how is Full Gear?
Hi,
Stick around, James. We're kind of talking about it. Some people liked it. Some people thought it was just okay.
Oh boy, this next match was a crap fest. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. This was awful. Didn't even need to be on the show at all. It was bad. I would have rather not had this match on and not had an AEW Women's Championship match than see this crap. Because that's what this was. It was bad from the very start. Vicky Guerrero came out, guns a-blazing with that kendo stick shot, barely touching the back of Shida's leg. And then all throughout the rest of the match, Shida was like,
well,
I'm Matt Jackson and my leg is falling off.
She hit her in the knee with the kendo stick that had, 10 pounds of padding on her knee.
But a kendo stick doesn't do that much damage.
No.
Dom, the idiot, who can't talk very well, took 30 of them.
Yeah.
And still went, Seth, I'm okay.
It was really bad. Nothing about this was good.
No. The best part about it, this match,
was nothing.
Was the ending. Where they kind of told a story where there's going to be possible split up between Vicky
But even then,
Nyla.
that was crap. Vicky came in,
I don't think it was,
slapped
because
Nyla
I
in the
think
face,
that...
and Nyla stood there and took it.
Okay, but
like a fool. She's
okay.
supposed to be like the native beast or whatever. That's not what she was tonight. Not at all.
She was.
Maybe that's why it's interesting as well, mate.
Yes.
Maybe the interesting part of it is Vicky Guerrero saying no, and suddenly Nyla's becoming a submissive to Vicky.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I think eventually they're going to break up.
It was a bit weird. Nyla's outfit was a bit weird. I mean, someone in chat pointed out that it was based on Mega Man. I was like, I see it, but I'm like, why is Nyla dressing up as the Mega Man? Nyla, the native beast, the monster that is Nyla Rose, dressing as a cartoon character.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
No clue.
Bit weird, isn't it? Dress as a... Why don't you dress as a Medusa or a god, That's Nyla Rose's character, not Mega Man, for God's sake.
Well, and I think that's one of the things with where we've talked about, the character, how people dress kind of should tie into what their character is.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they just don't do that. So it's like...
See, I really like Nyla, but I feel like her run in AEW has been mediocre at best. I really like Shida, and I feel like her run in AEW has been mediocre at best. It's not been good, and this match didn't need to happen because it didn't make either of them look good. In fact, I feel like it made both of them look worse. So it was
a terribly produced match.
Real bad.
I actually can't wait to hear Jim Cornette's rant on this because he is going to go off the wall.
He is.
But it was, and I could see it.
Yeah.
Whoever
pointless.
okayed this match, whoever thought this match was a good idea, is a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it wasn't.
No, it's one of those things that I think that they need to really take a look. But again, it goes back to the women's division. They just don't know how to work the women's division.
No.
And that's one of the problems I have.
Agreed.
So, by the way, thank you for following Ray Palmer 78. Johnny Lee says, "Did y'all?" He said that twice. James says, "Chris Statlander is hopefully coming back at Revolution." Hopefully she comes back because she is one that helps out. However, if they don't build the women's storylines, it doesn't matter.
No.
I mean, you can bring anybody back, and it doesn't matter if they're not going to build the storylines. Johnny Layton agrees the attire doesn't suit the character. Definitely. Darby, let's go. Young Bucks all day. We're just getting ready to talk about the Young Bucks. So next we get the Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks versus FTR.
Hands down, this match should have been the main event.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been the main event, no questions asked. I don't care what they were doing with Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. Shouldn't have been the main event. It should have been this match. This match was fire. It was so good. It was a clinic. It was amazing. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. They played out the Matt Jackson injury angle, which I think was kind of fun. seeing that throughout the entire match. They were paying tribute to some of the greatest tag teams that have ever been in tag team wrestling ever by doing their finishing moves and stuff. And they did that all throughout the match, and I think it was just so good. And this is, yet again, since watching AEW, I have not seen a bad Young Bucks match. No. They're just that good. Same goes for FTR. FTR hasn't been in AEW for as long, but they are brilliant, and they haven't had a bad match either. And the tag team matches continuously on every single pay-per-view generally tend to be my favorite, or the best match of the night, or, just whatever the case may be. They're always, the best matches on their cards. Why is that?
Because they're two talented wrestlers who know how to put a match together.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to go ahead, Ant? Because I'm going to. Because I know you're going to talk good about this, and I'm gonna.
Mr. G's not.
I'm gonna throw some.
Mr. G is not. Mr. G is ready to throw shade.
Mr. G is such a heel tonight. Jeez.
He is. I know. I like it. It's all cool. That's part of the dynamic. We don't have to all agree on the same thing, do we? I thought this match was outstanding. I thought it was cracking. I thought all the tributes in it were brilliant. I also think the working over on Matt Nees was great, but whoever it was, bald in FTR. They worked over his hand a lot. Which one?
Dax Harwood.
No, Dax Harwood's the one with hair, isn't he?
No, that's Dash.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Cash, not Dash.
Dash.
See, the way I think of it was Dash and Dawson in WWE. Dash was like
sweet itching.
What a lot of people said were Dash. They're like, I remember it's Dash because he's dashingly handsome or something cheesy like that. And
oh, wow.
Like, okay. So, Dash and Dawson, Dax and Cash.
So the bald one, he had his hand cut early on, and they worked that a lot into the match. And I thought that this had so many moments. It didn't necessarily feel like a Young Bucks FTR match. This felt like a wrestling through the ages match, and for these two to have that as a big moment and not make it all about Young Bucks and FTR, but instead have it as a celebration of tag team history and where both of these teams have come from and that sort of stuff, I thought was bloody genius as a match.
I think it was so cool, and we had some spots in there that, might not have happened normally for like an FTR team. Like they did sort of a dig at the Young Bucks, I suppose, where Cash did the splash to finish the match. Where they don't normally do things like that. And we had a spot where the Young Bucks did some of FTR's moves. Mm-hmm. And then you had all the in-between with, moves that the Hart Foundation used, or, the Dudley Boys, the Hardys, teams that paved the way for them. I think this was such a cool, innovative way to do this. Like you said, without making it all about FTR and the Young Bucks.
But then maybe that's a detriment as well, because we've all wanted to see the Young Bucks and FTR, and this wasn't the Young Bucks and FTR. This was a grandscape of wrestling match, which was great in many senses. But at the same time, maybe that's why people wouldn't enjoy it as well, because it wasn't what these teams are. It wasn't Young Bucks doing the flashy, silly stuff, while FTR are cutting them off at every chance that passes. There was a bit of that there, but there was, like you said, FTR were doing flips and stuff, and they're no flips, just fists. But excited to see what more these guys do in the future, for sure.
I feel like this probably isn't going to be their only interaction. I think there might be another one down the line. I think they're going to be a team that feuds with each other for the rest of their careers. Sort of like an Edge Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys type of a situation.
Throw in the Lucha Bros in there, and you've got a three-way, which is just exactly as strong as that. Yeah. Exactly,
and I think that they could put on they're going to be putting on stellar matches with one another for the rest of their careers. I'm sure of it, because they're just it's just meant to happen. So I think that this was brilliant, and I really, really enjoyed this, and this should have been the main event of this pay-per-view. This should have been the way we went off the air.
I agree. I'm going to go quickly get a drink. You guys carry on. Sorry. Mr. G's got your things. I just don't want to hear it, Mr. G. I just don't want to. You're just gonna talk bad about my match and ruin my opinion on it, and I just don't want that. I want to stay innocent, young, and happy. Now you go and be your miserable self about this match.
I'm gonna do that. So this match, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. It was like, I think because they didn't just have a match, they did all this extra stuff of like, tributes to the other tag teams. Mm-hmm. The way it ended, I didn't like. And so, one of those things that they seem to, because the finish I didn't like at all, because it was like he rolled up on him and there was no hook of the leg. There was no, he was just laying there, like flopped on him.
See,
there was no kick out. There was no attempt to kick out. There was no effort to kick out. And I'm like, really? This is how you like could take a chair shot and you get up from a chair shot and you get knocked down from that and you have a guy just flop on you. And really, he's not really on top of you. He's like on your shoulder. And you get pinned that way?
But the thing about it is, the major selling point there was the fact that Matt had been dealing with the leg injury the entire match. And when he hit the finishing move, he hit the super kick with the leg that was injured, that they were previously just working on, like, breaking in half. Cash Wheeler did the splash onto the mat, which looked phenomenal, by the way. It looked really good, regardless of whether he hit anybody or not. And so it looked really good, and he smashed into Matt, and then he got super kicked. And then Matt went to lay on him, and he was holding his knee because his knee was in so much pain from just super kicking the dude in the face. I think it was fine, and I didn't have an issue with it.
I don't know. It's just one of those things that again, it just didn't do it for me. It's like the ending really messed it up. The way they ended it, I didn't like at all. Like there was the ending was in my opinion was not good. Not good at all.
Did that ruin the match for you then?
What's that?
Did that ruin the match for you? Because it seemed like you enjoyed it up to that point, but then it seemed.
I think. Well, I thought it was a solid match. And the ending, the ending did screw it up. I think the ending kind of killed it. I mean, you go through this hard match and you have these two outstanding teams, and then the pin is just like a flop on the shoulder and like pin him that way. Like really? I mean, if he'd been knocked out or something like that, I would have said okay. If they would have had him like kick him and knock him out completely, but he was like moving around, so it wasn't like. They played that angle. It was just a kind of flop on the shoulder and really wasn't a cover. And they end it that way, and I didn't like the ending. The ending just irritated me.
It's fair enough. I don't think the ending was the strongest. It looks a little bit weak. I get what they were going for, but again, I do get what Mr. G is saying in that it wasn't the strongest ending. No.
See, but I don't think it was supposed to be though. It was supposed to sell the fact that Matt had his injured leg, and that was the whole selling point there.
Matt was able to persevere.
I mean, that can kill the whole thing if you don't do it right. I mean, if you make it look weak, that messes it up too. Okay. John Elite says, Mr. G, heel turn. Yes, there is a heel turn. Ray says, the Elite Deletion was a brutal match. Yes, in fact, we're getting ready to talk about that here in just a second. Non-FTR fan here, but I enjoyed the match. Akeem, I thought it was a good match. It wasn't great. And then the ending messed it up. Dax Harwood and Cash is the one with hair. Inner Circle new member MJF and Wardlow. Yes, we'll be talking about that shortly. Don't forget DIY.
Yeah, they had the cool DIY spot. I think that was really cool. We need to see Lance Archer versus Jake Hager. I'm not super high on Jake Hager. I don't think that he's that great.
No.
Lance Archer? I'm cool with Lance Archer. Jake Hager, not so much. I heard Rebby was there. Yeah, Rebby Hardy was there in the Elite Deletion match.
Yes.
So that was cool. One other thing to mention about the end of this Young Bucks match, after the Young Bucks won the titles and they were standing there celebrating, Kenny Omega came out and was celebrating with them. And we got this wide angle of, you know, the two tunnels that they have. And in one of the tunnels, you had Adam Page standing there kind of watching this celebration from afar. I think that was genius. This sort of subtle hint that he's feeling sort of, you know, this like, what did I do? Kind of maybe like some regret in, you know, getting away from the Young Bucks and having this whole situation with Kenny. So, yeah.
Dom didn't even notice it was there. It was great.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
I think it was so subtle. Mm-hmm. You had to be paying attention to see it, but it was so brilliantly done.
Yes.
The interesting thing is he was in the face entrance. I don't know if that means anything. But I thought it would have been interesting if he was stood in the heel entrance.
Yeah.
That would have really sent out some speculation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because the face entrance is on that side.
Yeah.
It
was kind of it was interesting.
Yeah.
See if they play that and see what they do with that.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, but subtle.
Alexa Bliss.
So after this, was Sir Benjamin there too? Sir Benjamin was a part of the Elite Deletion match.
Yes,
certainly was. Massive part.
That's the next thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Alexa Bliss, hey guys, I'm sorry to ask, but can I be a mod? We have some amazing mods right now. If you come into our community, you stick around for a while, maybe potentially you could become a mod, but we got good mods right now. Mr. Boo Radley, yo, any hotties wrestle tonight? Nyla Rose wrestled tonight, so there you are. There's your hottie. There's your hottie that wrestled tonight was Nyla Rose.
Oh, dude, that ginger-haired lass or red-haired lass was in the front row. Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. And also, Shida wrestled. She's beautiful. Serena Deeb's beautiful. Nyla Rose is beautiful. Bloody Matt Jackson's beautiful, let's be perfectly honest. So, yeah, lots of lovely lady wrestlers.
Yes.
I really liked Matt Jackson's hair tonight. It looked so much better with, like, the braid, so it wasn't all in his face. Like, because I feel like sometimes when they wrestle and they have those stupid headbands in, they lose them halfway through the match, and then it's like a curtain of hair.
Yes.
And it's like, you can't see anything, dude. It's almost like Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is the same way. It really annoys me when his hair is like straw, and it's like literally everywhere. It looks so much better when it's like wet or like in the braid. Little things matter. Okay? Because it takes away from everything.
Mr. Boo Radley, did you guys see Biden run out like a WWE entrance to give his speech? I did. I actually saw that video.
It's brilliant.
I've seen many videos with music overlaid. I've seen one with Cena's music overlaid, one with Ultimate Warrior's music overlaid. I've seen many.
So, Ant, you'll have to check it out when we get off here. You'll have to go check it out because it's pretty funny. Because he's like jogging. Literally, he's like jogging out to.
Paul has been awake for like 4 days, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Surprised he's not coming out on an IV trip by now.
Since when was Nyla a hottie?
Ouch! That's rude!
Can't believe you just said that, Akeem.
Dom will be defending
Mr.
her
Bradley
right now.
just looked up Nyla Rose. You guys really trolled me. What?
Y'all are so mean. Oh my
Jeez.
Meow. Meow.
Nyla roasted. Yeah, definitely.
That was just
I am roasted.
So then we have the Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara match.
Oh, wait. I gotta read this comment. Isn't it weird how Dolph's hair gets poofy after every match? Well, yeah, because when it dries, like I said, when he straightens his hair and it's not, like, wavy, when it is wavy, it looks real bad because it's, like, poof. But when it's straightened, it literally looks like dry spaghetti coming out of his head. So, that's not any better. It needs to be wet.
And this
so,
is why.
So, like, the curls are, like, separated and they look decent. Or it needs to be in a braid. One of the two. Because spaghetti hair and poofy hair is not it, dude. It's not a good look for you.
No.
Especially with your orange tan. It's real bad.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're trying to embody, but it's bad.
So Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. What'd you think?
I thought this was fun. It was kind of all over the place, but I thought it was fun. I think it was supposed to be all over the place, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was for a cinematic match. It was good. I don't think it's the best one we've seen, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The fireworks spot really got me. That was really, really funny. Like, I just thought it was hilarious that they were literally pointing fireworks at one another. It wasn't even they were pointing fireworks at one another. It was Matt Hardy shooting fireworks at Sammy Guevara, and Sammy Guevara was literally getting pelted with fireworks, like, and then was falling in mud. And, like, it was just really funny.
Well, and I liked how they had, like, Gangrel and Hurricane Helms and then Shane Helms as himself. You know, I thought that was cool how they brought them in. I think they could have done with that with Santana and Ortiz and what is it? Private Party.
Private Party, yeah.
I felt that was a bit unnecessary. The Private Party bit with Santana and Ortiz, like them fighting in the ring for so long. I felt like that was a bit unnecessary and took away from the Sammy and Matt match that it was supposed to be. But it wasn't bad. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my only problem with this match. The tag teams being involved, there was no need for them. The Gangrel and stuff, that's fine because that's a cameo and that's fun. But they were trying to have like a story in the ring with Santana and Ortiz and Private Party, and they don't actually have a story going on right now. So
no,
and that hasn't been advertised as part of the stuff. But in terms of spots, man, we got Matt Hardy riding over Sammy Guevara's golf cart. Sammy Guevara coming a Spanish God golf cart, which is perfect and hilarious. We got him running over that golf cart in a monster truck. We got the fireworks spots that was harking back to the Jeff Hardy match. We got a lot of stuff from that original sort of cinematic broken deletion from TNA from years ago, which was brilliant. The fireworks spot was probably more violent than that as well. The two put on a wonderfully entertaining match. I was laughing most of the way through it. I thought it was fun. I liked the whole blood thing towards the end. It was sort of like it was fake, and that's fine. But it was also sort of a nod at, look, we know that most of our matches have ended like this, but now we're doing it in a safe way, which I thought was really funny and a good little pun on that. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really good, really entertaining, and enjoyed it.
I love Sammy Guevara going into the trash can, and then
funny.
Clearly when they stepped out of the building, he wasn't in there, and then they were like... lifting this into the truck. And then it slowly, like, opened once they threw it in there, and it was, like, clear that Sammy was...
Well, I liked how they slid it.
It slid in,
so easy as they were sliding it. It was like...
It kept sliding off,
so
yeah.
Ah, man.
James says, what about Sting? I also heard he was supposed to manage Darby Allin. He was not there tonight, but there was a lot of references to him.
Yeah, you did mention that, Mr. G, during the Cody match. Do you want to mention the moves that you
Yeah. During the Cody match, they had the Stinger Splash.
Yeah.
They had what looked like was going to be
a Scorpion Deathlock.
Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah.
And then just throughout this whole thing, I mean, they've brought out a bait, with there's been baseball bat references and different things like that. So I would not be shocked if he came in, but he wasn't there tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ray says Jeff Hardy should just join AEW with Matt Hardy.
I would love for that, but it's not going to happen for like another 2 years.
Yeah, it's a ways off.
At least. Because Jeff has, I think, at least another year, possibly year and a half on his contract. And then he has to wait out WWE's stupid,
Yeah.
No compete clause.
You have to sit at home and can't do anything.
Yeah.
And so, by the time, I would imagine probably another 2 years.
That's what I
Unless he, decides to sign a new contract for whatever stupid reason.
I don't know why you would. I mean, there's just so many other things you could do. He's got enough money, so it's not the money thing for him.
No.
Hakeem says, let's hope Nyla doesn't find out about my comment. Hakeem, she always comes to our chat and checks out our stuff, so you're probably
watch out,
in
dude.
trouble. Yeah.
Native Beast is going to get you.
That's right. Mr. Bradley, Beth Phoenix was the best strong female wrestler ever. I would say no. I would say it was Chyna.
Best what? Strong female?
Best strong female wrestler ever.
I'd go maybe Bianca Belair at the minute.
I could agree with that. I feel like she's really good.
She's really strong as well, but refined strong, but strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you looked at like a lot of her, they had like competitions at the PC, and she was beating out all the guys.
But dude, she's an athlete, man. She's a wonderful athlete.
She's amazing.
Let's see here. Sammy got deleted probably forever. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him. Are they going to bring him back with a different character?
Yeah, he'll come out with a bin with Oscar the Grouch next week.
I just wonder if they're going to change his character up some, and bring him back in some other character.
I think he would if he fell in the lake of reincarnation, but I think that was the opportunity to do that there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would have loved to have seen that actually as one of the spots. If he got thrown in and came out in that awful panda outfit he used to wear all the time.
Yeah.
And then went back in and came back out. That would have been great.
Died laughing.
Yeah.
That would have been so funny.
The Hurricane was the best. Yeah, definitely. I thought it was cool what they did with him. WWE is greater than...
Probably AEW.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Beth would clap
AEW?
some cheeks.
Who knows?
She might. And then Ray says Rhea Ripley as the best, or the strongest female.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley. Great answer. Great answer.
So next we get a Lance Archer and Jake the Snake promo.
Oh, by the way, just to clarify for anybody that didn't get this, Matt Hardy won the Elite Deletion match.
Oh yes.
You just
I
didn't
thought we
clarify
kind of hit on that.
I don't know. Just to clarify that.
Yeah. So Lance Archer, Jake the Snake. I'm not sure what the point of this promo was, other than just saying that Lance Archer is ready to wrestle anybody.
I will say, I've not been impressed with Lance Archer promos. This was really good. This is a really good promo from Lance Archer. I understand why he doesn't speak now. I mean, you look at him and he's like a big dude. It's, again, sort of like a Brock Lesnar situation. You look at the dude and he's like huge. But when he speaks, it's totally not that. Like, he doesn't have the voice that you would expect him to have. So I understand why they have Jake Roberts speaking for him. With that being said, he got a really good promo.
It's intense.
Yeah.
Really intense. I don't know what they're doing with Lance Archer. They need to get him on TV more. I wonder if Will Hobbs maybe would be a way to go, but he's sort of... You just need him against a big... Maybe, what they call Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy. So Jungle Boy, Lance Archer. Let's get Lance Archer up there. Let's have him killing some people, you know? Yeah. And then you do Marcus Stunt, Jungle Boy, and then you do Luchasaurus and thingy, and that's like a cracking sort of 3 little feuds for Lance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen Jungle Express for a while.
No, I think that getting
Are they
getting
Jurassic
Lance out
Express
there.
or Jungle Express?
Jurassic Express. Sorry, my fault. It is 6:30 in the morning.
Whatever. It works either way.
Yeah, James says he's going to sleep. Good night, James. Have a good one. We'll see you Monday. Mr. Boo Radley says, who is the current top superstars in the WWE? I haven't watched him forever. Well, it depends on how long ago forever is for you, because there's probably some of the same superstars that you saw. So name some of the superstars you saw, and I will tell you if they are still those top superstars.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes. Hulk Hogan.
Top superstar WWE. At the minute, it's Roman Reigns.
Randy Orton.
Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre.
Oh, Dominic Mysterio. Rey Mysterio. Can't stand.
No, don't, Maven.
No.
No, don't. Probably The Fiend. Yeah. And, yeah, that's about it, isn't it?
Orton still on top? Yes, Orton is still there.
Yeah. Still a bit boring.
John Cena doesn't wrestle anymore. The only thing John Cena does is movies.
Orton just won the title. However, John Cena's his I don't know what you would call R-Truth.
His
R-Truth sees him as a hero. Fan? Yeah, John Cena's biggest fan. R-Truth is in WWE.
John Cena was his childhood hero.
Yeah.
Well, we keep getting told that John Cena's there every week, but I can't see him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him either. So, at least R-Truth says he's around.
Who knows? I mean, we can't see him.
Lance Archer promo is to take out everyone until he gets what he wants for a title. Man. That would be cool.
You need to start tearing some heads off. Yeah, you're right. Tear off people's legs and start beating them with it. That's what Lance Archer needs to start doing a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Then we have MJF versus Chris Jericho. I'm going to let you guys go first because you know what I'm going to go with this. So
I thought this was slow. This was a slow match. I like the finish. With the whole, he hit me with the bat, but not really. I'm happy that MJF is a part of the Inner Circle. But I don't know. This match was a bit slow. It wasn't that great. I think the placement of this match is what killed it.
Yeah,
Putting it on after the Hardy and Sammy match, I think that putting it on right before the main event, this placement completely killed this match.
Yeah, this is where the pay-per-view started to go a little bit more downhill, these last two matches, actually. This should have been on first, because it's got the story to matter enough, and I was interested to see the sort of ending, but not necessarily interested in the match, because I just didn't think Jericho would get a great match out of MJF, and it was fine. It was okay. Ending was really good, really creative, like that, and yeah, we move on from there, and give a big cuddle at the end. MJF got the win by disqualifying Jericho, is that what happened?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Jericho was disqualified for hitting him with a bat that he'd never actually hit him with. MJF ended up just taking the bump on his back. So yeah, it's fine. It's funny. And the other good thing about it is it doesn't mean that MJF cheated to win. He did cheat to win, but he didn't.
He just outsmarted Jericho.
Yeah, so Jericho respecting that makes sense for where this story continues to go. So. While the match was nothing exciting compared to the rest of the card, maybe more exciting than the main event though, it was fine. It was fine.
I feel that this was probably, as far as a storyline goes, this was probably the best match. As far as a storyline goes,
Mr. G.
As far as the match goes, I thought the match was terrible.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I hated that.
I'm glad we're on that same,
But as far as the storyline goes, this was probably the best match for a storyline that they had all night.
I can agree with that. Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
You have Jericho showing respect to MJF because of the whole way that MJF ended up getting the win with the ref having her back turning around, or whilst her back's turned, MJF falls to the ground because Jericho has a bat, and she turns around and sees MJF laying on the ground and like he's hurt, and so I think that was excellent. And then at the end, as they were leaving the ring, MJF turns around and gives a wink to the camera. And so, as far as storytelling, this is by far the best of the night. The match sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, was it? No. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I really like the subtlety of Adam Page and Kenny Omega, to be honest. But yeah, I can see why you'd say that, to be honest with you, Mr. G. It makes sense, and let's see what happens next, I suppose.
Yes, definitely. Ray says he doesn't watch WWE, only Impact, NXT, and AEW. Well, Ray, you can come check us out on Mondays as we do Raw. We do on Fridays, we do SmackDown. And then you can also come check us out on Wednesdays when we do AEW and NXT. You could also go check out Give Me a Whole Yeah as they do live broadcasts as the matches are happening. They will tell you what's happening and give you their opinions on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Just sort of watch it and laugh most of the time.
We also have started doing Thursday afternoons. We do NXT UK.
Because them Brits are mad.
I will tell you, if you have not watched NXT UK,
you should
check it out, because right now I think it's probably the best promotion going.
I highly recommend that you watch Walter versus Dragunov from 2 weeks ago.
Match of the year, I think.
Yes,
it was really
definitely
good.
If you've not seen Walter versus Dragunov, Ilya Dragunov, check it out. Best match of the year.
So good.
Ray says, like, UK, I love it.
Bobby Lashley should have 1v10.
The top wrestlers win easy. The problem, Mr. B. Radley, the problem with Bobby Lashley is he's not very good on the mic, and so I think that's where he falls apart.
Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns? Yep.
Roman is the top dog right now.
Well, Seth is still.
Well, Seth's there, but Roman's got the title, so.
That's harsh. He's the Monday Night Messiah.
Well,
not
he's
Monday
actually
Night
the Friday
Messiah.
night.
The Friday Night Messiah. The SmackDown Savior. Yeah. Whatever.
Roman is the man. He is right now anyway.
Like him.
To turn Roman heel, I suppose that's big news if you're not a wrestling fan.
Yes, they have turned Roman heel. So he is now a heel.
So he's become slightly more
getting
interesting
revenge
than he was before.
on Pat McAfee. Or McAfee. I don't know where they're going to go with that storyline. We'll have to see what happens. I'm sure they're going to get revenge. It's just it's an interesting storyline. So then we have a promo with Orange Cassidy, Miro, Kip, and Best Friends. Basically, Kip slapped Cassidy, and that's pretty much
probably setting up a match for this week on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah, this should have been left off, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I don't know what the point was.
Well, they were already kind of in a feud, so it doesn't really make a difference what they did with this because it was they're going to have another match.
Even if it was, I just don't understand it. The point of it was like non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, agreed.
Mr. B. Radley says heel. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Who, me?
Yes. Ant's a bad guy.
Just because I'm a bloody Brit.
That's right. That's what happens.
At least
the Brits are just bad guys.
Oh,
at least our elections don't last 4 days.
Yeah.
/ 4 months.
Orange Cassidy was like cool when he got slapped. Yeah, I think that.
Okay, well that was the only funny part of this was when he was like he got slapped and then he like told Best Friends he was like,
"Let's go."
And he went cool, and then just like walked off.
Yeah.
Like that was funny, but that was it. So then we have the main event, which was totally brilliant, and the best, the main event here, let me just tell you, you're not ready for this. The main event was a bottle of rubbing alcohol. It was so brilliant, and so... I really wasn't sure how the rubbing alcohol was going to win this match. But the rubbing alcohol prevailed.
Yeah.
And it was just... I was just, wow. Okay, so actually the main event was Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley featuring the rubbing alcohol.
And tax.
No, they don't matter. The rubbing alcohol was the only thing that mattered. They didn't get a close-up shot of the thumbtacks. They got a close-up shot of the rubbing alcohol twice. Just the rubbing alcohol. So, that was the important part.
That was to make sure you knew what it was.
Because it was the star of the match.
I'm guessing.
The rubbing alcohol was... If I had to pick one person on this show that was absolutely amazing, it would have had... It has to be the rubbing alcohol. Like, there was no... Forget the Young Bucks, forget FTR, forget Cody and Darby. The rubbing alcohol stole the show.
Stellar performance, man. Stellar performance.
I mean, I was waiting for Kenny Omega to come out and kick the rubbing alcohol in the face.
Oh, Kenny Omega coming out and putting on a match would have been wonderful compared to this, to be perfectly honest.
It would have been.
This was so bad. This is just awful. This was an I Quit match. I would have never guessed because I don't recall anybody saying they quit.
I definitely quit 2 minutes into it.
Yeah, you did.
This was bad.
I tapped out pretty quick.
There was no, like, if there were supposed to be hardcore elements in this match, there were none.
Well, there was a suplex on the concrete. They fighted around the barricades a little bit. They had a thumbtack spot, a baseball bat with a barbed wire that they did something with. It wasn't very much.
Do you know who took all of those spots, though? Jon Moxley. Do you know who took all of those spots, though? Jon Moxley.
It's not even that. The problem is the spots that I'm telling you now is just the match. That was the match. There was no fight between these two brawlers. And they're supposed to be these brawlers. and there was no brawl.
Yeah.
No.
It was, you know, people say like the Young Bucks put on these spot fest matches, and I see where they're coming from to some extent, but this was a spot fest with no interest whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, hardcore matches are fine. I get it. I get the shock factor. But
there was none of that, though.
Mick Foley and Triple H, what they did in their match at Royal Rumble was no worse than anything that happened to either of these two guys tonight in terms of the big spots. But they built up to them and they transitioned to them and all this sort of stuff, which didn't happen in this match. It was really weird. It was like a really bad CCW match. Like,
yeah.
And I've seen way better matches in CCW. The whole wrapping the barbed wire around the hand thing is just ridiculous. It doesn't work. Because you go, well, if he's going to hit someone with that, he's going to rip his hand open, which is fine if that's what he's going to do. But when his hand's not ripped open, then you go, oh, so it's just Moxley Baden. Just doesn't make it just didn't make sense to me, man. And it was slow.
Well,
and
then you
floppy.
had spots where Eddie Kingston was getting hit in the face with the barbed wire, and Eddie Kingston didn't bleed in this match like at all.
No.
Weird. And the rubbing alcohol bit. So he poured rubbing alcohol after he'd been sort of suplexed into the tax or whatever. Did he? Which they showed 3 times because it was like the most exciting spot of the night because everything else, and so they could get to the next spot because it was bloody boring. They poured rubbing alcohol onto him. Fine. So that'd hurt, unless it's water, which it probably is water. I think. And if it wasn't, I mean, absolutely stupid for doing that. I mean, like, because no one would have known if it was water. Just, you know, perform.
Even if it was rubbing alcohol, you're going to go... I mean, I'm going like... I even made the comment that, okay, if I get a cut or, you know, something that I need to have, like, cleaned out, guess what I use?
Rubbing alcohol.
So, he's got tax on his back, big deal. So, they pour this on him, and so, what's this supposed to do?
He was doing him a favor?
Yeah.
If they, like...
He was disinfecting the tax. I don't know. It just the whole thing was just bad. I mean, that was a bad match, terrible match. Didn't like it. Ending the show that way was not good.
Great.
The best part was when Mox was standing out there, like showing off, walking around. Oh, by the way, Kingston still would not shake Moxley's hand at the end, so. I don't know if they're going to continue with this. I hope not.
No. Please no.
And then Kenny Omega comes out and is basically saying, hey, I'm going to, you know, you're mine. And then he turns around and walks away. And then Mox walks out. That's it. I mean...
It was massively underwhelming, man.
Yeah.
It was massively underwhelming. And I think that's why, you know, we talked about it earlier, and it sounds like you haven't got a very good impression of the pay-per-view, Dom, Mr. G. But Dom, you know, give it a 6 out of 10, and I was like, you've got to be kidding. But actually, I can see why you have reasons for that. But Dom, I think, enjoyed all the stuff that we enjoyed it. But for Dom, that last match left such a bad taste in his mouth. He was like, nah, not happy, you know. And then that's the problem with your main event being that. And the problem is that you could have put Paige and Kenny on in that match, and it would have been great. You could have put FTR in the Young Bucks, and we would have all gone home happy. Instead, we had a show that after the Matt Hardy Ultimate Deletion match, or Elite Deletion, for me, just slowly drained off at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went downhill. It was
just a really bad way to end the show.
Again, that's why, you know, I didn't feel that this was really a good pay-per-view.
Okay, so if we have to rate this pay-per-view on a 1 out of 10 scale, Mr. G, what are you going to give it?
I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
Oh, even harsher than Dom.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 7.5.
I was going to say about a 7.5 out of 10 as well. Yeah. I think that the good stuff was good and the bad stuff was bad.
yeah, basically.
Do you have a favorite person on the show?
Oh, look at you. You're doing our thing. You're doing really good. I like it.
Yes, I try.
Have you stolen this? This is wicked. You can steal it. Yes. It's great.
I can steal it.
Performer of the night. Because it could be a wrestler, it could be a promo, it could be anything. Performer of the night. I don't know. Who you guys got?
Mr. G?
Hangman Page.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say this is close because I think there were a lot of really great people on this show. For me, I'm gonna say the Young Bucks.
Well, that's not a performer of the night. That's the team of the night,
so.
Miriam. No, you've got to have
Fine.
One.
My team of the night is the Young Bucks,
it.
and my performer of the night is Adam Page.
What? You didn't just choose one of the Young Bucks.
Is that legal?
Say again.
Matt Jackson, then.
Matt Jackson. You could say Matt Jackson if you want. I'd go for who's the good-looking one in FTR who did a few flips and stuff. Dash. There we go. I'll go Dash.
Cash. Actually, his name is Cash, not Dash. Whatever.
There we go.
Dash.
Whatever. Dash.
Cool.
Dax. I don't know anymore.
And then the best match of the night.
Match tonight, FTR, Young Bucks, easy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. You sure about that? You sounded really confident.
Well, there's not a lot of options here.
Yeah, I agree. Sure.
I mean...
Yeah.
I think Mr. G, I think it's clear to see that he's been annoyed by a lot of the endings tonight, which is fair enough. Yeah, which is cool. But it was a fun show. We had fun all chatting. The King gives it 7.4 as well, but also puts over the Ant's a good guy. Yeah, I am, baby. Performer of the night, Hardy. Oh, that's a good show, actually, as well. Hardy could be a good show. Or Sammy. I thought Sammy's great. Sammy's talent's amazing.
Hakeem says match of the night was Cody versus Darby.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Ray Palmer says Darby, my number one favorite wrestler. So I'm assuming that that's his performer of the night too.
Cool.
So
guys, that was Full Gear.
That was Full Gear.
I thought it was a good show.
Yes.
There were a couple crappy spots.
Definitely a great show. One of the best shows ever. Probably the best pay-per-view of the year. Hands down.
You suck. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You were terrible.
I'm just
I
saying the
really liked
facts.
this show. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I think it was fun. I think it all kind of... I feel like it went by really quick, too. Like, I feel like there wasn't a whole bunch of, like, messing around in between matches, and, like, it all flowed one right into the next.
Yeah.
I'd be free.
But that's the thing. The AEW does a good job with that, though. For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's... You know, the transition between matches is good. I do wish they wouldn't do the whole promos leading up to the matches like they did. They seem to be doing more of that tonight than they did the last pay-per-views, which kind of takes away from it. And that's why we got a 5-hour pay-per-view or however long it was instead of a 4-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful that they give the matches time because, like, in WWE, like, you get a ladies match that'll last like 2 minutes and stuff on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Or Elias and Jeff at Hell in a Cell and stuff like that. And there was none of that really here. I mean, everything sort of makes sense in terms of where, apart from maybe John Silver and thingy, and also AEW pay-per-views out every month. You know, it's not. It's a special event, and I feel like they delivered. I agree. I think it was probably the weakest pay-per-view of the year. But they've had some bloody good pay-per-views this year.
Yeah, they have.
You know, when you look at All Out, I mean, the only real... I'd say there's 3 sort of dud matches, or potentially arguably dud tonight. All Out only really had 1 dud match, which was Hardy and Guevara. The time before that was a great pay-per-view. All Out was it, or Double or Nothing, with the Canadian Stampede and the Brody Lee and Moxley and all that sort of stuff. And the one before that we had fans, so it's even difficult to sort of compare them really, because that was another great show.
Yep.
So yeah, I maybe the weaker pay-per-view, but you know, yeah, there were still some great matches. And you don't get that on a WWE show. Sometimes you'll have a WWE show with no great matches. You know, what was the pay-per-view before Hell in a Cell? Clash of Champions. I mean, was this better than Clash of Champions? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like just.
See, I feel like this was better than Hell in a Cell because on Hell in a Cell, I feel like we had that one really good match.
One match,
the
yeah.
other 2 were just kind of meh.
Or the other 5.
Like, the rest of the card was just kind of meh.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is probably the best pay-per-view that we've seen, in a couple months with all the WWE pay-per-views that we've seen.
Yeah. And even with like that Hell in a Cell, like I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm drunk. Carry on.
I don't know. I just think that this one was weak.
It was weaker than the rest, I'd say. I can agree with that.
And so,
but it doesn't mean it was a bad pay-per-view.
There were some great matches there.
Okay, in Mr. G's eyes, that means it was a bad pay-per-view.
Here's why. Because when your expectations for AEW become... See, this is why I felt WWE, at one time used to be really good. They had... Their pay-per-views were stretched out. There wasn't one every month, so you were trying to build storylines for every month and trying to get everything through quick. And so they've had time to build this pay-per-view up. They've had time to make it good.
Which I think they have.
Well,
and
kind of.
I don't know. In some areas.
I feel that it's kind of a letdown when you're building for this, and they've done a good job with their pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that, when you have that expectation of having, the pay-per-view be really good, and this is just like, okay.
See, but for me, just like from my perspective and in my opinion, I just feel like there was only like 1 or 2 matches on the card that were just kind of meh.
Yeah.
That would be the Kingston Moxley match and then the women's match. I said that the MJF and Jericho match was a bit slow for my liking. That doesn't mean that it was terrible.
No, it was better than
that one just
stuff,
wasn't. Yeah. It just wasn't necessarily my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But everything else was really good.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I've spent 20 quid tonight. I've enjoyed it. I feel like I've got 20 quid's worth of enjoyment out of it. That's a sign of a pay-per-view, and I don't always feel that with the network pay-per-views. Like, if you used to say, pay 20 quid for that, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What am I getting for that? So from that, it's difficult because you compare it to previous AEW, which has been of such a high standard. And, do you compare AEW with AEW, or do you compare AEW with the broader wrestling scene as well? And that's a difficult thing to do. Do you rate a Raw at the same level as a pay-per-view? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, apparently Dom did.
Apparently Dom did, yeah. Which is fine, because maybe you're saying for a pay-per-view that should have been better. And Dom did, and Mr. G rated it even lower. But Mr. G sort of explained his reasons as well. Dom, I think, was more in a camp, the similar camp to us, where he was into it and having a laugh, and he got Gangrel. I mean, he thinks that Gangrel should be the new champion.
Ray says Revolution is going to be good. Starts in February. Yes, hopefully it'll be good. The musics for them were great. The promos, the music for the promos were good. I love how they, like, the beginning of the show, the music they were playing was good. So, Keem says that was the best pay-per-view of 2020. Well, in my opinion.
Well, no, it's cool to have that opinion, and I can see why people would enjoy it. And I've sort of explained, that's what we do here. We just talk about what we don't enjoy or what we did enjoy and blah, blah, blah. And I think we've done a good job at sort of expressing that tonight. I personally, my favourite pay-per-view of the year would be Double or Nothing, I think, so far. What about you guys?
Yeah, probably.
The Canadian... I'd
probably say the same thing.
Like, the Canadian Stampede was such a bizarre, fun match, and then everything else on the card was great as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would kind of have to take a look back, I suppose, at some of the stuff that we've seen this year. Because I feel like we've had some really good matches and stuff, and like really good shows. And so I feel like it's hard to kind of pick one thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's something I've been thinking about a lot, because it's such a weird year because of COVID. I feel like most WWE pay-per-views have given us like one good match. Look at Backlash this year, which was rubbish, apart from one really good match. And same with a lot. Hell in a Cell was the same. A lot of WWE have done that. And actually, to argue Akeem's point, I think that there was several good matches on the show. So
yeah.
Nothing else.
Ray said it was too slow for me too, and mine was Revolution from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I could say Revolution too.
That was the tag match with
Kenny and Paige versus the Young Bucks.
Yeah, that was great.
That was like a really good match. Yeah, I could say that pay-per-view.
Who said that?
Ray.
Ray, you rock, Ray. Well played. But isn't it funny that we talk about AEW in a different light to WWE? I always find that fascinating.
Well,
see, like,
the thing is AEW's kind of put that expectation out there, and as I've stated before, AEW seems to want to appeal to many different people that are into wrestling because of the styles they put out there. Because they don't necessarily put out just one style.
No, well, we saw that tonight, Mr. B. We saw that tonight. John
Silver and Cassidy,
you have multiple styles Elite Deletion.
Out there. Yeah. And so I think that's where AEW, I could see why people get turned off by AEW, because it's not the same thing, the same style that they like over and over again. Where WWE just seems to have, the same style of matches, the same style of performances. I mean, it's which is fine if you like WWE. It's fine if you like AEW. It's fine if you, you talked about Impact having the shooting that happened on Impact.
Did they?
They've kind of went into the realm of doing and they've been doing it, of doing something like what Lucha Libre did. Or Lucha Underground, sorry. Lucha Underground did, where they've got a storyline that is tied into, with the matches that take place, but there's a story in there too that's outside of the ring and things like that that's taking place. So to sit here and go, okay, well, this one's better, that one's better. The few times I watched Lucha Underground, I thought it was pretty cool. The first time I watched it, I was like, what am I watching here? This is supposed to be wrestling. And then I watched it again, and I was like, oh, this is it's kind of like a TV show or a soap opera happening right in front of, with wrestling involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, people have different views on what's good and what isn't. And
absolutely.
So I think it's hard to compare to an extent, but you can compare whether something was good, or excellent, or whether it was just bad. In comparison to, so I could sit here and say, okay, AEW's pay-per-views were better than WWE's, but I would basically what I'd be doing is comparing what's happened in AEW and how their storylines have went and things like that. And I could say, okay, this pay-per-view is excellent. And look at WWE and go, okay, well, that one was terrible because there was no storyline. There was no. I mean, there was the stuff that happened didn't make any sense, or whatever, or vice versa. WWE's pay per view is better than AEW's, and so I think that it's one of those things that it's people comparing. It's a little harder to do just because of the styles and stuff that happens. So it's going to have to be something that you like.
Well, see, that's why I like AEW so much, is I feel like AEW is just so different from WWE. Like, it's a different sort of perspective of the wrestling and stuff. And I feel like it's really cool. And I think that's why it's my favorite show throughout the week, is not only do they've figured out how to do the better stories and how to let the wrestlers get over and be themselves, but it's just like a different atmosphere than WWE,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like more, I don't know, it's just different. And it's funner to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I overheard a conversation earlier. I think it was you, and it might have been when I went to make myself another drink, because I'm apparently drinking like Adam Page tonight. I've got like a line of bottles right here. And I've been drinking rum and coke all evening. The one of the conversations I had, someone had earlier was about it might be when we were setting up, really dragging you. One of the things that I heard you talk about earlier was the fact that it's been a really good time to be a wrestling fan because there's been some really great wrestling. And I was like, okay, I disagree with it slightly, and I'll tell you why. There's been some, like, one or two really good matches. Ilya Dragunov, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Hell in a Cell. There's been matches. But generally, if you take in all the wrestling we watch, there's been a lot of rubbish. And that's across all companies. And that's partly because of the COVID era and all that sort of stuff. And so there's reasons for it, and we understand it. But, like, I think sometimes we just remember the good parts as opposed to the greater risk, and maybe that's where you're coming from with this pay-per-view, Mr. G, because you said like there were some really good parts, but the whole thing didn't gel as well for me, you know.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it. I think that's where you need to, if you're going to look at the whole show. In my opinion, the stuff that wasn't good was worse than the stuff that was good.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. So the good stuff wasn't good enough to make me go, man, that was excellent. I love that. I loved the whole thing. I loved what I was watching. But the bad stuff made me go, man, that just wasn't good. And
that's why we love wrestling, because we've all got a different opinion, and it's wonderful to talk about your opinions and listen to your opinions, and that's why we watch these weird little podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of those things, you know, which is cool. Which is why we do this. We come in, we give our opinions, we talk about it, we read, you know, comments from people in the chat. And now we've started talking to you guys and doing our thing for, you know, I think Mrs. Gleen brought up it's been about a year since we've kind of been.
I know. I can't believe
going
it.
in, and so it's.
I've got so old. I mean, I've got a year younger, and Maven's got a year older. What's going on?
Yeah.
Maven used to be down there, and now she's down there.
Yeah. That is the funny thing. If you go back and watch some of our first shows that we did, you go to the Wrestle Story and go to like the first shows that we did. Look at how much she has changed.
How much more wrinkly, and she's finally getting some more facial hair, which is congratulations, Minnie M.
Definitely.
Also, credit to you, because I never normally do this. I normally watch you guys on an iPad. But Minnie M's makeup this evening.
Oh, thank you.
Like, bravo. How long did that take you, Minnie M?
I was downstairs for probably an hour and a half.
I mean, outstanding.
2.
Outstanding. And she does
That's cool.
To come on a British podcast and watch some wrestling, and then we come across here and talk more wrestling. All the effort she puts in. And Mr. G, he's what have you done? How did you get ready? I didn't go out to get ready, mate. I changed my shirt and my underpants.
It took me all of 15 seconds to get ready.
See, that's what we do.
Man.
Minnie M, an hour and a half for you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys.
Okay.
So like the video and subscribe and follow. And press the bits button.
Make sure you go over and follow Give Me a Whole Yeah too, because they rock.
Yes, they're great. We love doing the shows with them. It's always so fun hearing like everybody's different opinions. That's what's so cool about this is it isn't just like one solid thing. Like everybody has great ideas, and I can't tell you the amount of great ideas that I have heard about different storylines and different directions they could go with this over the last 2 days just with talking to you and Dom. It's really cool.
And that's exactly the same for you guys, you know. That's why we enjoy doing these, and that's why, you know, we do. So if you do want to see more of these, let us know via social media channels like Twitter and Facebook, of which we have both. And let us know in the comments, and let us know by sending some love to both channels.
Yes,
because we do
definitely
work together, and we do care.
We do.
Yes.
With that, I think we're going to take off.
I need a drink.
We will be back Monday after Raw. check out Gimme Hell Yeah during Raw, as they do a live stream during the show. So check them out there. And we will be back Monday. Both channels will be back on Monday. So we will see you guys then.
Peace
out,
Peace
everybody.
out.